Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a huge geopolitical puzzle. For thousands of years, from ancient Rome all the way to modern superpowers, the world's biggest empires have tried and failed to conquer one particular piece of land. We're going to break down the incredible resilience of Iran. So what's the secret? What is it about this place that's made it a fortress against the tides of history? That's the big question we're really digging into today. To really get it, you've got to look at the history, and the story it tells is crystal clear. For more than 600 years, the core borders of Iran, they've barely changed at all. The Romans, the Arabs, the Turks, even the British Empire at its peak, the biggest names in history, they all tried, and they all failed to break the heartland of Iran. This quote right here, it just nails it. The key to understanding Iran is to stop thinking of it as just a country on a map. You have to see it for what it really is, an immense natural fortress. Okay, let's dive in and see how this fortress is built. Every great fortress needs walls, right? Well, Iran's walls weren't built by people. They were forged by nature itself, by tectonic plates over millions and millions of years. So let's start our tour with that first, most obvious layer of defense, the huge mountain ranges that basically wrap around the entire country. So look to the west, towards Iraq. You've got the Zagros Mountains, this gigantic wall of rock. As you go northwest towards Turkey, those same mountains just get higher and more rugged, creating a border that's basically impossible to cross with an army. And hey, where the mountains finally give way, nature throws up a different defense. These huge, impassable marshes. They act just like a medieval moat. And then up north, sealing off the Caspian Sea coast, you have the massive Alborz Range. It's just wall after wall. And the walls just keep on going. Over in the east, you have a whole series of mountain ranges creating this fortified ribbon along the borders with Afghanistan and Pakistan. But it's the south. That's where things get really nasty for an invader. If you're coming in from the Persian Gulf, you're not going to find any sandy beaches to land on. Nope. You're met with the base of mountains that shoot 1.5 kilometers straight up into the sky and then continue inland for 250 kilometers. It's a natural death trap. Okay, so those outer walls are, wow, just about impossible to get through. But this fortress has another layer of defense, and this one allows it to project its power across the entire globe. We're talking about the fortress's ultimate weapon, the Strait of Hormuz. This isn't just some waterway. For Iran, the Strait of Hormuz is a strategic choke point that gives it unbelievable leverage over the whole world. It's less of a shipping lane and more like a kill switch for the global economy. I mean, just look at this map. It tells you everything you need to know. Iran controls the entire northern coast of the Persian Gulf, from one end to the other. Meanwhile, the southern coast is split up between 7 different countries. That dominant position gives Iran total control over the front door to the Gulf. So, just how important is this little choke point? Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets crazy. Every single day, a full 20%, 1/5 of all the oil the world burns has to squeeze through this tiny little strait. And it's not just about oil. Nope. When you add in everything else, like all of Qatar's natural gas exports, for example, you're talking about a staggering 5% of the entire global economy being tied directly to this one narrow passage. So what's the price tag if that kill switch gets flipped? If Hormuz were to shut down tomorrow, we're talking about $6 trillion of economic value just gone. Poof. This isn't just a defensive tool. It's a weapon of mutual economic destruction, and that makes a direct attack on Iran almost unthinkable. But let's imagine for a second that an invading army gets ridiculously lucky. They somehow blast through the mountain walls, they survive the global economic fallout. You'd think the hard part's over, right? Wrong. Their problems are just getting started, because once you get inside the fortress, you find out it's a land of traps. The first trap is the land itself. The inside of the country is dominated by 2 of the most brutal, hellish deserts on the entire planet. And the 9 million people there? They don't live out in the open. They're packed into defensible cities and valleys tucked away in the mountains. For an invading army, this is a total logistical nightmare of impossibly long supply lines, harsh weather, and just punishing terrain. And then there's the second internal trap, the people. Now, Iran is home to a really diverse mix of ethnic groups. Persians, Azeris, Kurds, you name it. And yeah, that diversity can create challenges for its own government. But for a foreign invader, oh, it's an absolute nightmare. Because as different as those groups might be, history has shown they share one powerful trait. a fierce nationalism that ignites the second an outsider threatens their home. You want proof? Look no further than the Iran-Iraq War. Back in 1980, Saddam Hussein invaded. He figured the new government was weak and that all the ethnic minorities would jump to his side. It was a catastrophic mistake. Instead of breaking apart, the country came together. People from every background rallied under one flag to defend their homeland, and they fought a brutal 8-year war that ended right where it started, with the borders unchanged. This brings us to the final layer of the fortress's defense, and honestly, it might be the most unbeatable one of all. It's not a mountain range, it's not a missile, it's just size. Pure, overwhelming, soul-crushing size. There's a military term for this. It's called strategic depth. And the idea is pretty simple. If your country is big enough, an enemy can't knock you out with one punch. As the defender, you can trade space for time. You can fall back, pull the enemy deeper and deeper into your territory, stretching their supply lines until they just snap. So how big are we talking here? 1.6 million square kilometers. I mean, that's just a number. It's hard to grasp. So let's put it this way. You could take 2 countries the size of Pakistan and drop them inside Iran's borders. The scale is just mind-bogglingly huge. So let's just walk through the doomed journey of an invading army. First, you have to somehow break through those fortified mountain walls. Then you've got to fight your way across hundreds of kilometers of hostile desert. All the while, you're watching your supply lines for fuel, food, and ammo get stretched thinner and thinner and thinner. And then, if you even make it that far, you finally arrive at a major city like Tehran, which is deep inland, by the way, and your forces are totally exhausted, depleted, and vulnerable. Iran's land itself is its silent and most effective defender. So if Iran is a fortress that really can't be taken by force, what does that actually mean for the rest of the world? It means that any kind of engagement, whether it's conflict or whether it's diplomacy, has to play by a completely different set of rules. Understanding this geographic reality, well, that's the key to understanding the past, the present, and the future of this incredibly important region. Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.